URC round number 10, folks. Sharks and Stormers. Can the Sharks fix their season? Seemingly not this week. 25-21. We'll go through some key events and stats. You guys can let us know your thoughts. I haven't watched any URC for a while because it's not been on. Six Nations has been on. I figured if I'm going to watch a game, I might as well watch some of the South African teams because many of the URC teams are missing their Six Nations big guns. But the South African teams have got the likes of a bunch of Springboks, and Mbonambi was there, Oxenche is there, Lucanio Arm was playing like some of the best players in the world. Let's give this game a watch. And I had read about this kind of Sharks Fest. The social media team with the Sharks have been building up this big game against the Stormers, at Kings Park. It's going to be a real party atmosphere. Could they get the job done in front of their fans? Well, no. But I think it was still a successful product overall. The atmosphere looked cracking. The people seemed to be having a good time. I get the feeling there may have been a few drinks had. Certainly some people were getting into the music and whatnot. And there was rugby on as well. They'll be disappointed. And I should admit, I watched this really late because it was on at 4 in the morning here in NZ. I haven't started watching until after 7 a.m. So apologies for that. Much delayed. But the Sharks, geez, they started badly. Well, the Stormers started really well, whichever way you want to look at it. It was all the Stormers. It was all the Stormers. Oh, my goodness. The Sharks just didn't have any ball. It was all Stormers pressure. I mean, the fact that the Sharks didn't concede any really early points, like first 10 minutes points, is a kind of minor miracle in itself. Apolele Fassi putting in a tackle on Ivan Ruda's shoulder to shoulder kind of epitomizes it, but they were just under the pump, having to make desperation tackles. And the Stormers guilty of too many knock-ons. The Stormers will be frustrated. But they did get the first scoring. Kerwin Bosch had put in a kick out on the full, which didn't help his team's cause. But, the territory and possession just paid for the Stormers. Cross kicks, looking really comfortable. Mngomezulu puts in a cross kick to Loda, who pops it to Dweba. The Stormers eventually find the space, 5-0, and they get it a double with Galant not too long later. Really comfortable, heaps of time on the ball. Sees the Sharks' defensive line, bit of space in behind, dinks it over the top, regather, pops the ball to Vet, who's got the great support line in the gas to go over. So 12-0 early to the Stormers. It's happy days, It looks like they're gonna flog these Sharks guys in the crowd. It's going to basically just have to entertain themselves. Well, there's a lot of Stormers fans, though, to be fair, in the crowd. But the Stormers guilty around about the half an hour mark of conceding a few too many offside penalties, which gives the Sharks a bit of field position. And sure enough, Springbok steps up. Oxenche able to power over from very close range. Just enough of a fingertip on the ball to be given. TMO had to clear it, but cleared. So 7 points to 12, that's game on. But the Stormers did have the final say of the first half with a penalty through Ngomezulu to make it 15-7 at half-time. The Sharks certainly at least had a bit of momentum at the end of the first half, because the start of the first half was just, they were just defending for their lives. Possessions 55-45 to the Stormers at half-time. The Sharks have had to make 82 tackles to 50. The Stormers have had 163 run meters to 78. So it's been all Stormers, largely. Second half, it continues for the Stormers. They win a scrum penalty. Van Roos has a couple of big carries. And then the TMO is called upon again to check if Loda has got the ball down, because Lucanio Arm is doing his best to wrap around him as he goes over the line. TMO can see enough grounding to give a try. So Loda is given that one. Arm's effort's not quite enough. But 22-7. It's still looking like a bit of a big hill to climb for the Sharks boys. But, you got Mbonambi to bring off the bench. You got Deanti to bring off the bench. Deanti goes close with his first touch, but he is pinged for a double movement, so the Stormers' defense holds. And the Sharks, they managed to keep the game alive, though, with their next kind of resulting bit of pressure. James Fenter, he goes over all from the Stormers' kind of clearing kick going out on the full, not knowing that they had taken it back. So, Stormers concede the try, and Leo Lanzas gets a yellow card for a deliberate knock-on in the build-up to that try when he was trying to snuff the move out on the wing. So, double trouble for the Stormers, 22-14. They've got a man down. What can the Sharks do with the extra man? Nothing. Sadly for them, they don't score any points during the yellow card. They did manage to shut down a Stormers maul close to their own line, which is good, but ideally with the extra man, you want to be putting on that offensive pressure, and they did have one nice move out on the wing, but they just kind of chucked it into touch. They couldn't quite, find their man, so a little bit disappointing from the Sharks there. And then Stormers managed to get their final 3 points of the game when Loader has a nice intercept. He's caught, but then concedes a penalty for the ball not quite being out the ruck. The Stormers up for the 3, 25-14. That's going to be important because that's what keeps them beyond kind of kick range at the death. But the Stormers did concede one more try. Mbonambi gets it for the Sharks. I think they said it's his first game back since the World Cup, so it's a long time, him with his recovery. But good to see him back and good to see him on the tries, the try sheet, the scoreboard. The maul had gone close, brought down by a few phases, and Mbonambi goes over. So 25-21 with 3 minutes to play is absolutely game on. And I feel like the Stormers will be disappointed with the way they saw out the game because they had a scrum in the Sharks half. They basically just needed to win the scrum, maybe go through a few phases, and then see out the clock basically to kick it out. But there's nobody at the breakdown in support, and they just concede a penalty. So the Sharks have got one last chance to win it, but wouldn't you know it, they lose their own line out. So a real letdown at the end from the Sharks. They had the chance to give their home crowd a grandstand finish, but not to be. So that's kind of the story of the Sharks season. Possession finishes 58-42, territory 54-46 to the Sharks. They had 60 plus of both in the second half. Run meters 357-361, finishes pretty even. Clean breaks 7-8, pretty even. Stormers win more turnovers 4-2. Evan Ruas, big carries, beat 6 defenders from 11 carries. Lukanyan beat 3 defenders. Fassi had 2 clean breaks. Van Heerden had 20 tackles for the Stormers, but what can I say? The Stormers still look pretty solid, and the Sharks' woes go on. We'll see how things pan out for the rest of the season. There's obviously a lot of rugby coming up. There's more Six Nations. Super Rugby's not too far away, but you guys let us know your thoughts on the game. Interestingly, the broadcast here started as they were still doing their rehearsals. So I heard the commentary team, Stransky, going blah, 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 and whatnot. They do rehearsals in which they just blah, blah, blah their way through it.
Dobson, blah, 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 blah. Joining me in commentary this afternoon, the man on the scoot today, former Springbok hooker, Anyani Shamangi.
Fun times. You guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.